Hey there, it is Tomster here on the behalf of Indie Structural Productions once again, continuing onwards with the throwback baritone build. And today we're going to have a look at how to make a backplate for a guitar, be it out of wood or plastic or whatever you want to make it out of. This is my approach to doing it. So I take, in this case, a half-cut pencil and a piece of paper, and I basically transfer the shape of the cavity onto the paper. Once I have that cut out, I use the super glue and masking tape trick to glue it onto the material that I want to make it out of. Now, I've made sure that I have one edge which is completely square, so I can line that up with the straight edge of the cavity cover. Then it's just a matter of cutting it out. I'm using a coping saw to do this, and by far the easiest thing to use if you're doing this at home like I am. Of course, make sure that you have a stable work surface to use. At that point in time, my kitchen table, as it were, was quite literally patio furniture, so not the most stable, but it got the job done. I'm not going right on the line. I am leaving a little bit of excess so that then I can start adjusting it using different rasps and sandpaper and stuff like that to get it to fit perfectly. Now it's a matter of taking away excess material, trying to fit it on, seeing where there's still stuff to take off, and removing excess once again, up until the point where it actually fits smoothly. I wish the camera angle was a little bit better at this point, so you'd be able to see me actually fit it on the guitar. But yeah, there it goes. I've removed some excess. I have a look at what I still need to remove and from what parts, so that it is even throughout the edges. Now, this is the one instance where I really wish I had some sort of CNC machine to kind of do this for me. Because this is frustrating, to say the least. It takes a long while to get it to fit perfectly. And it's just incremental little changes to get it to fit. And with that, I have a nicely fitting backplate. There we go. Then moving on to actually drilling out holes for the screws to go into. Three is more than enough to hold it in place. Once I have the holes drilled, I countersink the holes as well. Just so that the screws then sit nice and flush. Now I could leave the edges rather sharp, but I actually prefer the rounded over edges a lot more. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just using 180 grit to get all the edges. Firstly, get all the saw marks and rasp marks out, but secondly, just to round over the edges a little bit. Now, I'm not taking away enough material to change the shape of the backplate at all. This is just to kind of clean everything up and making sure that I'm always following the grain, so I'm not creating any scratches across the grain, because that would be very, very annoying and frustrating to try and get out. Now, in preparation for the next phase, it's time to kind of drill all the holes for the wires to go through. So get that back plate out of the way. Now I'm using my finger as a guide on where to drill to. Drilling into the cavity is easy enough as long as you have your angle right and a good enough drill bit that's long enough. You're not going to poke through the back if you're careful enough. Admittedly, this is one of my least favorite parts because I'm always afraid that I'm gonna drill too far even though I'm nowhere near. This being a neck through, it is also rather annoyingly difficult to actually drill in between the two pickups. I could drill into the control cavity through each pickup, but instead I decided to go halfway through, just trying to get my line and my bearings here. So halfway through from one side and halfway through on the other side, and then connecting the two holes basically. Just so I don't go too deep, because I can't get an angle that will go all the way through without doing some damage. So instead I have to go halfway through on either side. This is a completely new drill bit, so it is really sharp. It hasn't gotten any use. Try and go as slow as possible. But hey, this episode is about to wrap up, so thank you very much for watching once again. Be sure to hit that like button, comment down below if you have something to comment on, and I will see you guys next week for another build video. At least I think it will be a build video next week. Anywho, see you next week. Bye bye.